Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our returning listeners, and welcome if it's your first time listening. We're so happy to have you all with us today.
Yes, thank you for joining us for this 7th episode of the Lion Pridecast, a podcast created by the Lansing Unified School District 469, located here in Lansing, Kansas.
Lucky number 7.
Yes.
The purpose of this podcast is to inform our Lansing stakeholders, being our community members, students, and staff about all things education. We are your hosts. I'm Miles Azzeh, Director of Teaching and Learning in Lansing USD469.
And I am Sharon Burns, the Director of Communications and Marketing. So, Miles, as you know, but now our listeners will know, I am more excited about this episode than I have been any other.
Sharon, what have I been doing for like the last 5 minutes? What have I pretty much been begging you to do as I sit here in this chair? Like, what have I been like?
Record.
Yeah. I'm like bouncing.
Stop prepping and record.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like a little child. Yes. I've been bouncing. Right. I'm like, let's start. This is going to be our best episode. Let's start.
Yes, it is.
Let's go ahead and talk about the episode. What do we have in store for our listeners?
This episode is going to be focused on recruitment. With the current teacher shortage, as many of you know about, it is more important than ever to recruit teachers to our district. I believe we might have mentioned this before, but Miles and I have been attending college fairs since last March. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we need to do a count to see how many we went to. Yeah. But the most recent one we went to was Wichita State University.
By invite, by the way. We
had
to woo them a little bit.
Yes, Miles wooed them a bit. But we went on Veterans Day, and we talked to some incredible students who will be student teaching now. So they're graduating. I think all of them graduate in May, the ones we talked to.
All of them were, Wichita State's got a pretty good program in the sense that they have them do a lot of shadowing and observations in different levels prior to actually doing their student teaching. Mm-hmm. So yes, they're all going to be embarking on their student teaching this next semester and then graduating in May and then hopefully all coming to work for us because they were all seriously 5 for 5.
They were fantastic.
I would take all of them.
So part of going, obviously we're there to recruit, which is important. But another thing that we have learned is that we can gain some really valuable information from these students and what they're looking for in a district, and take that information to hopefully make us an even better place.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm really hoping for it too, because let's be honest, knowledge is power.
Right.
So, and that's what this episode is going to be centered around. The information we gain from the students. Like, once again, that's why I'm so excited about this is we have audio clips from all of these students.
They allowed us to record.
Yes.
Miles wooed the organizers from the event.
I was just wooing Wichita State.
But he got us a room to where we could record in and have some privacy to be able to talk to the kids and then not kids, they're young adults, but to let them record us or let us record them to get some insight in what they're looking for in a district and in a leader.
And I have to give you a shout out because this was your idea about recording them for the podcast. Once again,
bringing the podcast on the road.
Yep, we took the podcast on the road. You're doing a lot with recruitment and retention this year. We both are, but I know that that's a big focus in that and climate and culture, and you're working really hard toward that. So it was a really good idea. And like I said, this is why I think I'm so excited. I knew it was going to go well, but I don't think I thought as well as it went.
Yeah, it went really well.
Well, I guess the first thing is that we can talk about is how we went to the fair in the sense that it was a little bit shocking. We didn't actually kind of got a late notice and being able to get in.
When we got there, we were a little bit nervous because we hadn't had any students signed up yet, which in Emporia, when we went to that one, there's a meet and greet before. We only had 3 students, and by the time we'd finished the meet and greet portion, and then the interview part is the second part, we had our interview schedule filled up. So we were hoping that with Wichita State, and it happened. Yep. We were able to talk to students before during the meet and greet portion in the morning.
We had our wheel set up.
Had our spinning wheel. Yep, we got a little wheel that they can spin for a prize to get them to come to our table, to lure them in.
Gotcha.
Got them. Yeah. But we had some great conversations and getting to know, laughed a lot. Probably the loudest table in the place.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if other groups really liked us that much, Sharon. Students liked us. Wichita State liked us.
Yes.
But I was definitely seeing some scowls from some other groups.
But we had fun. It's fun time. And so the meet greet, we were able to sign up these 5 students, get the room, record them, and now we're going to highlight them.
Yes, that's what we're going to focus on right now.
Yes. So during the interviews, we always leave some time at the end to allow students to ask us some questions about the district, so we can fill them in on anything that they want to know more about. And one of the things we found over the course of these last few months is that there's some common themes in the questions that they're asking us. And what that tells us is it's things that are important to them. So those are some things that we want to focus on. And do you want to talk about some of the themes that we heard, especially this trip? Then we're going to go into more. You can start with the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It's been the themes. While Friday was the day that we taped all these. We definitely heard a lot of these in the questions because we always left it, you're right, at the end, like what questions do you have for us? Which, by the way, I have to give a shout out to the students. Almost all of them would like open up their journal and have lists of questions. So
at Emporia and at Wichita State.
Yeah. Did you have any of that at Washburn?
I did. I had some, not all of them did, but most of them did as well.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. And the questions were solid. So a lot of the themes came up. That's what this podcast is going to be about, pretty much centered around 5-6 of those themes and then hearing what students say about it. For this first one, we heard a student talk a lot about relationships.
Multiple students talk about relationships.
That's true. Multiple students have brought this up, but relationships and culture, like the culture of the building, the relationship that they have with the students, the faculty, with the staff, with the administration, and even like relationships with community. So I think those two areas were really big on this first student.
And I'm happy to say we are obviously focusing on that. We've talked about that on a lot of other podcasts. But the student we're going to highlight with the next clip who talks about this, you're going to hear him, is somebody that I'm very proud to say is a Lansing graduate.
That's so cool.
CJ Fitzhugh did a fantastic job during his interview, one of the best we have talked to. I mean, he really gave some thoughtful answers and definitely made us proud that he came from Lansing. He had nothing but good things to say, wants to come back. He is a senior graduating in May, and he is in secondary education with a focus on social studies.
That's right, absolutely.
Yes, so we're going to hear him talk about, in his words, why relationships are important to him.
I definitely want to have a good relationship with the school I'm in. Obviously, since I'm from Lansing, I should know a lot of the faces. A lot of the faces haven't changed. And I fit into the culture well. That was something I always ask for in interviews is, what's the culture like? What are you guys like? What are the kids like? And that's super important to me just because I want to make sure that, we blend well and I can add, there's things that I can benefit from. There's also things that I can bring that the school will benefit from.
I'm not going to lie. I loved CJ's answers.
I did too.
I loved him just in general. Sometimes we talk about someone being just so genuine and authentic, and he was just genuine and authentic. You talked about his answers gave you chills at times.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, you could tell they were heartfelt and sincere.
He said all these little things, about he doesn't believe to ever raise his voice with kids, and just talking about overcoming Azzeh. I loved it. And one thing that I want to highlight in his answer that we just listened to was about the culture. And I just think that's so important is the relationships and cultures that you build, the culture that you build in a building and what he's looking for in a building. I especially liked how he said, I always ask during an interview what the culture's like. I think it's understandable I think it's important for us to understand that culture's a really big deal.
It is.
We keep saying it. I feel like it's almost like quasi buzzword now. You know what I mean? But it's a huge deal to these new employees coming in because they've never had a job, as it should be. Yeah, they want to feel welcome. They want to feel that they can have those relationships. So I was impressed with him for being able to not only articulate that so well, but talk about how he asks about it constantly. And we heard that from other people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So another thing that, obviously CJ is from here, but one of the things that we heard and kept hearing, not just here, but in other colleges, is a lot of people didn't know where Lansing was, which is kind of funny. But it's actually a really good thing, in my opinion, because they hear Lansing and they think we're just this little town away from everything, but we're not. And we can really sell up the fact, or promote the fact that we do have a small town feel here. We have a community that really, truly supports the school district. We're small, but we are close to so much. Yeah. We're close to Kansas City. We're close to Lawrence. We're close to Overland Park. We can get to a Chiefs game, quickly.
So many of them.
40 minutes, but
moderately quickly. So many of them knew. I was shocked. I mean, so many of them knew legends.
I know.
And we were like, Legends is 15 minutes away. And I think by the end of it, I was like, Legends is next door.
Right. Exactly. You just walk over there.
Just walk to Legends. I was like, we're actually, our district's in the Legends.
In the Legends.
Yeah. So, but I was really shocked at how many people knew. And you're right. That small town kind of feel.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So the next person we're going to hear about talking about the importance of that small town feel and tight knit community was a student, Gabby, who is also a senior, like they all are, graduating in May. I don't need to say that every time, I guess. But
Awesome.
I adored Gabby. She was like high energy, positive. Like the three of us were just vibing. Like we laughed a lot. Just charismatic, magnetic personality. I adored her. So here's her clip where she's going to talk about why, what that small town feel and that tight knit community, what that means to her.
What I'm looking for from an employer or district is a tight-knit community. I want to be able to talk to all my colleagues. I want to be able to talk to the principal. I'll have open feedback, open conversations. I want everyone to do like the pumpkin carving contest. I want like the small town vibes that like everyone I feel like should be looking for, because I feel like it just brings in better relationships inside the classroom.
I really enjoyed listening to Gabby, not only during the interview, during that recording right there, but also during the entire interview. Mm-hmm. She's just like CJ, so authentic, so genuine. Right. I could just see kids just loving her in elementary class.
She exudes positivity.
Yes,
too,
she does.
Yeah.
And people like you and I, we love that.
Yeah.
So what I really love is we are very fortunate here in Lansing to have the small town vibe. Mm-hmm. The community is so close. It's a tight knit community, and they really do care about education, like you had said. But I think when she's talking about tight knit community, I think she also meant within the walls of the building she's in. So a tight knit community with her colleagues, tight knit community with her leader, with her students, and the ability to feel like she's close to them and be able to ask, whether it be asking for feedback or advice, whatever it may be. And I think sometimes we forget that aspect of things. When we think tight-knit community, we think of like the surrounding community of like the business partners and the parents and stuff. But sometimes we do just mean the community of our building. Right. So I really like that she talked about that and used that term for it.
Yeah, I do too. So the next couple clips, we're going to be focusing on what students were looking for in a leader. Mm-hmm. There were definitely several things we heard that each of them say over and over and over again. Trust. Yep. They need to be able to trust their leader because they want them, they're looking for honesty, which goes along with trust, but also that open communication. So this next clip is from Aiden. And I'm not going to say she's a senior because I've already said that with every other one. They are all seniors graduating in May. But Aiden was just lovely. And she's so funny because she was our last interview of the day. She wasn't actually going to come because she thought she had a conflict, but her friends said, you have to come talk to these people and do the podcast. So she came in and she had her notes and she had them ready to go because we told them the questions we were going to ask them before they came in the room. And she was prepared with them written down. So here is Aiden talking about the importance of communication, honesty, and trust in her leader.
I'm looking for a leader who has open communication and constructive criticism, who is honest and trusts me.
All right. So Aiden did a really good job of talking about communication like we had talked about, and I'm glad that she did that. I also love, in addition to the communication factor of honesty and trust, like having that in a leader, I love how she talked about being open to feedback. Like she wants constructive criticism. She wants to learn and grow from her leader. And, so many people, they, I don't think you get this too much from new teachers, but it happens quite often that we kind of, I like to say a lot of times that we feel like we've arrived. And it was great to hear teachers say like, no, I really want to learn more from a trusted professional that I believe in. So it was great to hear somebody talk about just not only the communication aspect, but having a leader that's honest, trustworthy, and open with them about providing feedback.
Right. So next we are going to hear from Katie. So Katie, again, everybody was very positive, but she was so sweet, such a sweet personality. She actually had wanted to be, when she was younger, a children's oncologist, and realized she couldn't be around sick kids. That was difficult. She said after being what was in the cadaver lab, that was enough. Where I was like, nope.
I didn't even want to listen to the story. I was like, oh, move on. And
her fiance is who encouraged her because she does like working with kids. Just say, why aren't you a teacher? And it just like the light bulb came on, and she said, I would. There's no place else she would rather be than, or no other profession she'd rather be now than a teacher. It's just the perfect fit for her. So let's hear Katie talk about what's important to her in a leader, and then we can get your feedback on that.
In a leader, I really look for somebody who empowers teachers to continue their education, but who also has an open door policy to be able to help any teacher who has questions to kind of grow in their teaching skills.
I really think Katie hit the nail on the head with that one about how important it is to feel empowered and supported by your leader. Super impressed for her to bring that up, not only just with continuing education, but just to, kind of think outside the box and be empowered to be that way.
Another student who we've already heard from once, CJ, actually talked about empowered, and I really wanted to be able to play this next clip. So let us hear CJ talk about empowering really quick.
What I'm looking for in a leader to me, I want them to empower everyone and believe everyone deserves an opportunity. Look into who they are as an individual, see their strengths, see their weaknesses, and utilize them in a different way within their staff.
So this clip just cracks me up every time because we were having CJ record his answers and he, they were all a little bit nervous to do it. And then he had done such a great job in his interview, and he took so much time to answer the questions very, just
in depth,
thoroughly, and just took his time. And so we kind of went over time.
Well, because as an interviewer, you're supposed to kind of, keep an eye on the clock. And
but we were enjoying
ourselves. I was captivated. I was like, tell me more about that.
So we're interviewing, he's being recorded, and then you hear the, and I thought, okay, we're going to have to restart. Nope. CJ looks at me, kind of glances up, and then just keeps going. And Miles had to sneak over to open the door quietly, and he just kept going. Yep. And so I was like, man, this kid he does not crack under pressure. So
he is going to be great if he, I don't know if we said earlier, he really likes the idea of being at the middle school level.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie, he screams like middle school, and that would probably do really well.
Right.
So that takes us into our final interview.
Yes.
Not for the day. This person interviewed a little bit earlier.
Second.
It was the second one of the day, but it'll be our final clip that we play.
Yes.
This is Madison. I thought Madison had a really, once again, great personality. I loved a couple of the answers that she had talked about. So she's high school, secondary science. She loves chemistry.
Yes.
And I love her reasoning for it, by the way. It was a great teacher inspired her. She went into chemistry kind of almost with that fixed mindset of I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to. And she just had a great teacher who explained it very well and used a lot of background knowledge. And I just thought that was fascinating.
Right. And I also liked she talked about her mentor, which is her mom. And you really felt it. And she just really the connection she had with her mom when she talked about her, it was very sweet. And she's great student, and we hope we're going to get her chemistry teacher. But here's Madison talking about what she finds important in a leader.
What I'm looking for in a leader, definitely someone I can trust, definitely someone who has experience in whatever it is that they are being the leader for. Also someone that is willing to collaborate with everyone that's a part of the group. So not someone that is just going to overrun the entire group and whatever they say goes. They're willing to collaborate with others. Also someone that is willing to see others' points of view. That kind of goes into collaboration, realizing that what they think, what they view, and their thoughts are not necessarily always the best way to go. And some people can always bring in good ideas that you can integrate into that. And then just an overall positive attitude and relationship with all others. I feel like a lot more gets done and a lot more gets accomplished when everyone is thinking positively, they all have the same goal, and they all actually genuinely want to be there because they care about the outcome.
Super impressed with Madison.
Yeah.
Love some of the things that she was saying. We heard a lot of what we'd already talked about before, the idea of trust in a leader, somebody who's positive. You and I, once again, big fan of that. But and the common goal. I thought that was really interesting. And the biggest thing that I took away from her leadership desires of what she'd want to see in a leader was that idea of the principal being a collaborator with the staff, not somebody who is just going to mandate initiatives or tell them what to do, but somebody that's going to work shoulder to shoulder with them. I love how she said somebody who's not going to overrun you. And that's really important. That's where that trust comes in. And I love that. It's really necessary to have that too as a new teacher, because if you feel like you can't talk to your principal at an idea that you have without without them being like, nope, we don't do that here, or I have way more experience than you, so be quiet. You're not going to really try to take any of those risks or anything. You're not going to do anything that might be a little bit outside the box, if you will.
Right. Yeah. What do you say? What you're saying? Teachers don't quit buildings; they teach, or they quit
principals.
Yeah, that's and so I feel like we have some strong leaders, especially this year with the new admin we have on. I think that they're really good about that. And what is that term you always use? The psychological safety.
Yes, I heard that. I believe it was from my ICs recently, but the idea of having psychological safety in any place you work, I think it's one reason I'm blessed to work with you and other people here at the district office. And really, honestly, in almost all the buildings, because I feel like I can pitch ideas and people don't freak out, you know, or shoot them down immediately.
There's something different, right?
Yeah, there's nothing worse than that feeling when you're excited about something too. So yeah, psychological safety.
The creativity, you want to keep that open.
Exactly, especially if we really want our teachers to be, I love to use the term all the time, but outliers. Right. I want our teachers to be outliers.
Heck yeah.
I guess they'd all be outliers, and then that would not really, it would defeat the purpose of being an outlier. But I do want them to be risk takers and think outside the
risk takers. Yes, definitely. And speaking of outliers, I feel like going to those career fairs, we've done a couple things that make us a little bit of outliers with the. Obviously we're not HR, we're not, I'm communications. You're director of teaching and learning. We're not there to. Is a very stiff recruiter. We have fun with it. Yep. And one of the things, your idea, which was fantastic, was instead of having our students that we really like and we click with, we think would be a good match, instead of having them just go online and filling out an application, we are encouraging them to come to us so that we can give them a tour.
I love it.
And they have been so excited to do it. And I am happy to say we have our first tour this Friday. Gabby is coming. Madison has set hers up for, actually, she's going to be setting hers up for December. And then the others are coming as well. So that's been a lot of fun. And then we're going to get to see them. We get to introduce them to the leaders. They can make sure that it's a good fit for them. We hope that it is. And we already know that they're fantastic. So, yeah. So good job with that idea, Miles.
No, you're too kind. I think it's really playing into exactly what they're asking for over and over again, like that tight-knit community and feeling welcomed and feeling that there's an open communication. What better way to feel that prior to clicking on our website and applying than to actually meet those people?
Right. It's that face-to-face, that one-on-one, which they'll continue to get here. That's the thing I like about it. They can go into the principal's office and talk to them. They could go talk to Superintendent Wessel and he'll talk to them. That's the beautiful thing about us, that we're small enough that we can do that. So, do we have anything else to say?
I just want to say that this is quite possibly the best episode. It was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, but it was fun. I really appreciate the students letting us interview them, and hopefully maybe we can have them as a recurring guest when they work for us.
I think that's a great idea. And by the way, they're all going to be listening right now, so please come back.
Shout out to CJ, Madison, Gabby, Katie, and Aiden.
Can't wait to have you for a tour, and can't wait for you to hopefully apply and join us if it all works out well. And Sharon, great idea with this. Seriously, it was a fantastic idea. And a moment ago I was like, oh, this was a lot of work. We have to pause so that we could listen to the clip, right, and splice it and put it in the thing. And I just sit here while you do it. So it's actually really funny that I'm like, oh, all this work. Like I literally was like sitting here doing nothing.
It's fun.
So thank you for all your work.
Sure.
I was kind of bored. I think that's why I feel like.
Okay, time to wrap it up. Time to cut Miles off.
Okay. And you know what? I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up by cutting me off. What else is new? Yep. As always, if you'd like more updates and stories on Lansing USD469, you can visit us at www.usd469.net. I think that's like 5 in a row.
Good job. Right. Yeah, it is. So if you don't already have it, you can download that free Lansing USD469 app on Apple and Android. The app allows you to be the first one to know everything going on in the district. And Miles,
the only reason I'm going to bring it up, I go ahead.
No, I think that, go for it.
Well, the only reason I'm going to bring up why you should have the app, the other reason, I bring it up every single time, snow days.
Yes, and it is going to snow tonight.
It's going to snow tonight, hopefully. So we'll see.
I don't think school will be canceled, just for the record. But
I just like snow.
Yeah, just for snow, yeah.
So download that app.
Yeah.
If you'd like to connect or you like our content and want to stay up to date on the latest episodes, please follow us wherever you're listening to us and leave a review to help others find us and learn more about our great district.
Yes, we are available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Castbox.
Which I still don't know if they actually
it's
exist.
A thing.
I'm going to look it up. I promised myself I'd look it up next time before this, but it didn't work out.
Phone before this is over.
If you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, please send us an email at sharon.burns@usd469.net.
All right. And that is a wrap on number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah. Woo.
Thanks for listening.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.